And joining us now here on the Kenny and JT show on WHBC from Goodyear, Arizona, the spring training home for the Cleveland Guardians, is first base coach, catching coach, former Indians player, and all-around good guy, Sandy Alomar. Santos, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kenny. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Getting ready for another baseball season, a very strange off season with the lockout and the owners and players finally agreeing and a rushed spring training. So I'm curious from your standpoint with your player experience as well as your coaching experience now in the bigs, how weird of an off season was this and how compact is this spring training for you guys to get everybody ready for that opener at Kansas City on April 7th?
Yes, it's a difficult situation. Similar to 94, 95. You just have to have faith on the players that they're doing their work while they're locked out. 90, 95, we had the same situation. It's more difficult for the pitchers, not for the position players. I think that just think about it this way: when a position player goes play winter ball, they only have a week and a half to get ready and they go play. But this is Major League Baseball, so you want to get your legs ready, and you have to ramp up your work, so it's a little bit difficult. So the organization does a good job on planning for the players to have the right ramp up. That way, we don't get that many injuries.
Sandy, let's start with the catching because in years past it was Roberto Perez's room, Yan Gomes before then. Austin Hedges now is your number one guy. So, as a former catcher, losing a great signal caller and defensive catcher like Roberto, talk to me a little bit about Austin Hedges' game and why he's the right guy to handle this pitching staff for the Guardians.
Well, Austin Hedges is one of the best defensive run catchers, save catchers they have in big leagues. For the last 4 or 5 years. So he's in a similar path of Roberto Perez. We try to focus on catching first, often second, because with this kind of pitching staff, you want to develop pitching, you have to have the right catcher back there, and Austin Hedges does a fantastic job handling the pitchers, calling game, and planning. And just like Roberto Perez, they're like, if you look at their statistically, they're like very similar for the last 4 or 5 years on defensive run save. So we are an organization that develop pitching, but with pitching, you have to have the right catcher, and he is the right catcher.
What about Naylor, the young kid in the minors that everybody's hearing about and the Guardians have high hopes for? How many years away do you think he is?
Well, Naylor, Naylor defensively, he's unbelievable, man. He's one of those kids that he's a lot of flexibility. He got great hips, great mobility behind the plate. So he's in a good spot right now. But the fact that he lost a year in the pandemic, that took a year of development of him. So I'll say like 2 or 3 years. It should be defensively he's major league ready right now. But he needs more experience behind the plate and how to handle pitching staffs and stuff like that.
I'm talking about Bo Naylor there, the brother of Josh Naylor, who's coming back from that horrific injury, and hopefully he'll be ready to go on opening day. Let's talk about the starting staff, Sandy, and tell me if this is a fair statement to make based on the lack of offseason moves offensively. The young staff, this team is going to go as far as its starting staff takes them. Is this the strength of this team, and is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the strength of the team for the last 5 years. Pitching is always the priority here. Um, we still have guys in the pipeline that are very good too. So they have guys behind these guys that are pretty darn good. So we'll see how the needle moves. But so far, we depend on our pitching. We have a couple of lineup does a pretty good job here. Hopefully, we get guys going, and but we are pitching and defense organization, so hopefully we can do the job.
Guardians first base coach, catching coach Sandy Alomar, our guest here on WHBC. And Sandy, manufacturing runs, creating runs. This team's going to have to do some of that with the lineup and the young players. And one of the guys they acquired last year, Miles Straw, we saw him for about 60 games. Center fielder with some speed, 30 stolen bases combined between Houston and Cleveland. as a first base coach, right? And you watch Kenny Lofton steal 66, 70 bases a year and everything. Can this guy maybe be the table setter, the jump starter for this offense if they can get him in the leadoff spot, hitting about 270 or above?
Yes, he could do that, but Kenny, you have to understand that today's game, the control and the running game is a lot more difficult than it was in the past. It's not as simple as the value of a stolen base is not the same as it was then. You have to be more efficient of stealing bases. You go out there, rub the bank, not get caught. So Maelstrom can do that. It's gonna be 80, high 70, 80% stolen base rate, and so is Jose Ramirez. So we got guys that can steal bases and run the bases from first to third, from first to home. So that's the priority, taking advantage of the opposition defense. Be aggressive, run the bases out of the box. That creates mistakes. But at the end of the day, you just want to be efficient running the bases and not give outs away.
Terry Francona is back as the manager. Good to hear that he's getting healthy and he's going to be back. 80 and 82, the team finishes in second place last year. What does it mean getting Terry back where the last 2 years have been interrupted due to his illnesses and injuries?
Yeah, it's going to bring stability to the team because you know who the manager is. He's been the guy that's been here for 13 years, 12 or 13, I don't even know, many years.
It's a long time.
He's the culture he created, so that's good to have him back and knowing that he's going to be a skipper, a healthy skipper for the remainder of his contract. So looking forward for that. Feel good. Everybody goes to their role and to their roles they know what to do, and hopefully we can get competing pretty soon.
Yeah, two things, and I'll let you go. The compact season. How careful do you guys have to be with the starting pitchers, pitch counts, innings early in the season, and does it affect relievers the same way it does starters, Sandy?
Yeah, the pitching is the one that has it the hardest. It affects everybody in the pitching staff because if you have a one-inning relievers that you throw 30 pitches in one outing as a reliever, then pretty much the next day is going to be kind of like emergency or something like that. But the roster is going to be expanded, so I imagine that we're going to be more heavily on pitching for extra players than position players. But there's going to be some early off days that is going to help a lot. So you don't have to start the rotation. You can use 4 pitchers in a rotation and then have one piggyback another guy. So at least those off days at the beginning can help a little bit.
And the last thing, playoffs, is that the mindset of this team? Is that it every year? Or with a young team like this, we hope for the playoffs, but we want to see development and create a team because a lot of spots are still up for grabs.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do both. I mean, it's kind of hard not to think about both, I should say. When you're competing, you want to win. We have done, great things here since Francona has been in command, and we had till last year we had the best record in the American League. So like you never know, man, in this division. And if you're fundamentally sound, you have good pitching. Opportunities are always there.
Sandy, we always appreciate the time. You look great. Keep up the fantastic work there with the Guardians, and we'll talk to you throughout the season. All right.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. There he is, Sandy Alomar, checking in with us here on the Kenny and JT Show on WHBC.